6:30. You're live here on GHOne TV. It's time for news tonight with me, Natalie, for a look at our top stories. Coming up this evening, Electoral Commission halts recollation of some disputed parliamentary election results as the NDC files injunction against the process. Also coming up, National Peace Council urges Electoral Commission to call for an emergency IPAC meeting to deal with ongoing controversy of recollation of results. Also ahead tonight, Western Regional Health Directorate begins vaccination campaign to deal with surging cholera cases in the area.
At this point, we need to bring the cases down drastically.
And ahead in business, leading retail shop Malcolm Limited opens new branch at the Accra Mall. Details of these stories and much more news right here on News Tonight. Please stay. Across the world, this bulletin streams live on Facebook and X at GHOne TV. We get started with the health sector this evening as the cholera outbreak in the western region has reached alarming levels, with the death toll rising to 15 as of December 13, 2024, since the first confirmed case was reported on November 4, 2024. The region has recorded a total of 190 confirmed cases, with hotspots identified in Ifia Kuma, Kwesi Mintim, Sekondi, Efia and Shama. In response to the escalating situation, the Western Regional Health Directorate is set to launch a cholera vaccination campaign in the most affected areas.
The campaign, aimed at curbing the spread of the disease, will run from Thursday, December 14 to Thursday, December 19, 2024. Addressing the media at the press briefing, Dr. Gifty Amugi, Deputy Director for Public Health in the Western Region, explained the rationale behind the vaccination campaign and stressed its importance in controlling the outbreak.
The vaccination would improve or increase our immunity to the cholera infection. What we need now at this point is to drastically bring down the number of cases that we are getting for the cholera. I repeat that this is not the first line or the gold standard in controlling the cholera management or the cholera outbreak within the region. There are a lot of activities that are going on already, but we realize that at this point we need to bring the cases down drastically.
Dr. Amugi further encouraged residents in the affected areas to fully participate in the campaign, emphasizing that it is a critical step in preventing further spread of the disease and saving lives.
We encourage particularly our youth, people aged between 20 years and 40 years, to embrace this campaign. Why? Because we are the exuberant ones. We are moving to and fro every now and then, touching this in our mouth and all. And so we see that the risk of spread is higher within this populace. We are giving it to everybody, but we say that please embrace it for us.
Meanwhile, earlier this week, the Regional Coordinating Council issued a communique to ban food vendors from selling foods like wache with salad, bread with salad, among others, in a bid to mitigate the spread of the disease. Here is the Regional Environmental Health Analyst, Oliver Cromwell, speaking to GHOne News.
Well, meanwhile, the medical superintendent of the Kwesi Mintim Government Hospital, Dr. Simon Osei Frimpong, has been speaking to GHOne News about how some 3 patients were brought in dead to the facility.
Now the numbers are increasing. and the deaths are also increasing. I'm in Kwesimintim Hospital. Kwesimintim is now having an average of 28 patients a day, meaning we get almost every day about 28 patients coming in with new cholera. Since it started, we had only one death. By yesterday, we had about 3 brought-in deaths, meaning the patients died in their houses and they rushed them there thinking they were not dead yet. So they wanted us to certify, only for us to see that the patients were all dead before coming. It's getting scary and it's getting disturbing. It's how plead with the general public that when you see yourself passing stools, please don't wait. We used to have this diarrhea and gastroenteritis that presents with diarrhea as like this one. But that one, people will just go to drugstores, get flagyl, get loperamide, they take and it stops. This cholera doesn't respect these antibiotics and the lopuramides. If you take it, you will still pass the stools. And the scary aspect of it is that every stool that comes out of you is approximately about 300 mils of fluid draining from you. So can you imagine, if you pass about 6 stools of these cholera stools, it means you have about 2 liters of fluid coming out of you. So most of the deaths we have, usually they die within 24 hours.
Well, let's stay on this issue. Kwame Malcolm is our Western Regional Correspondent. He's joined now with the latest on the story from the Western region. Now, Kwame, it's good to have you. First of all, how serious is the outbreak in the region as it stands? And how far in is the vaccination campaign?
Very well. Thank you, Natalie. Well, the outbreak is getting serious, like you heard Dr. Simon Asefrimpo intimate. It's getting scary. And as at today, when the Ghana Health Service had a press briefing, they actually updated the figures to about 200 persons who are on admission, and they intimate that the symptoms are getting much more scarier as they come in. Initially, they were milder, but right now, the symptoms that are being brought in are a bit severe and intense. And it indicates that people are staying at home trying to treat themselves with a self-prescription of the collodium, the flagyl, and that is when they run a lot and they get to the health facilities very dehydrated. And even today, I was supposed to have a guest on my show on Radio 360, and the guest told me he has been running all night. I indicated to him that he needs to visit the nearest health facility immediately. So the figures and the breakdown indicates that we are having some very high incidence of the cholera pandemic in ECMA, that is the Kwesimintim municipal area, and also the Sekeli Takrady municipal area. These are 2 adjoining areas within the center of the Western region. Right. And they actually have very dirty environs, and the enforcement of environmental health bylaws are very lax and very weak. And as a result, it is very easy to find very dirty environs where food is being sold. As of yesterday night, there is a popular place called the Fiekuma, where there is a thriving night market. You go there, you find noodles being sold with vegetables, and these are what has been intimated to have been banned, but yet it's been still sold out there. And so these are some of the trigger points that we are having. And in communities like the Takrady itself, the central business district, it is not uncommon to go into the central market, the central business district, that is the Takrady roundabout, and find refuse littered all over. So it's not a surprise to actually have this cholera outbreak. And
now help us understand, has the vaccination exercise actually begun, and what's the rollout set to be?
So the vaccination is set to begin on Sunday, and it's supposed to touch these high-prone areas. That is Shama. It's supposed to touch some areas in Ahanta West, and it's supposed to touch areas also in the Fiakwesiminti municipality, as well as secondly Takrade itself. So these are the areas that the vaccine is supposed to touch. It's an oral vaccine, and it will be administered. And the Ghana Health Service is imploring the youth that who are actually being heavily infected between the ages of 20 and 40 years to patronize the vaccine.
Kwame Malcolm joining us from the Western region. Thank you for the updates there. Rather concerning developments. Certainly more on that subsequently. In other news this evening, at least 3 persons have been reportedly died and 3 others suffered various injuries during an explosion at Obuasi in the Ashanti region. The incident happened earlier today at a mechanic shop. According to an eyewitness, an electrician was testing some wires which tripled, leading to a blast. One of the deceased reported to have died on the spot and another confirmed dead while receiving treatment at the hospital. Here's an eyewitness narrating the incident to GHOne News.
It's electrician here, Juma. It's wire Juma no test wire no. And a wire and triple in a tija. A tija gakrano. Na patrol sunsunamho. And a so munti so muga krabi. Te so muga krabi ni guso. And a near Pessia Dumujano. Na Pessia Dumujano near fire service. Your friend Obuasi bote fire service. Your friend Amusia say. The real near Fredgy. Your friend Amusia say. It's a Jano din Kakanga kra and a so kabakum. A so kabakum na fena a Jana. Etienne Sonson boys no bia so me yadi so ni anwea adi guso eti afa guso no ni anwea fo ni bi so ho eti afa blast once ato fire ho eti anwea fo ni me sentiment pie eti baako a ye nyina ye ni hu ye no ye hu za gas no baako sa pae ana ema ono so no one side pae man nsono e den epie bye dia ha me me ni say emla ade ni si ye no akwaso be se 2 to 3 hours. Na fire service ba kukura nsia police ni ba kukura ma. Eti adan Obuasi for ye ni pa na. Ana say fire service no sa saya. Eti omuntimi nya efanso ma samoba. Amunye. Eti fire service ba na say ya. Ekasa accident enkansi. Ade ni ba kakra bi no. Nka fire service ba nko bedum no. Ye wa na say ye wa to 3 good hours. Fire service ba kukura ni ya. Eti ya ba say ka try Ghana.
So that's an eyewitness reporting the incident. But Kwame Marfo is a local reporter with Obuasi-based Time FM. And he joins me now over the telephone for more on this. Kwame, good evening to you. You were actually at the scene when this happened. Tell us what you've gathered so far. Kwame, are you hearing me?
Good evening.
Good evening, Kwame. I'm asking what you gathered at the scene. You were actually there when it occurred. What more do you have to share?
I can hear you clearly, but I assume you are asking about the incident that happened here in Obuasi earlier today, right?
Absolutely. So kindly share further details that you've gathered so far.
Okay, so as we speak, the death has now risen from 1 to 3. And it's been confirmed the doctors at the Angola Ashanti Hospital. Earlier today, in the early hours of today, around 10:30 a.m. thereabout, we had a explosion at Obuasi Bongobri, the junction that leads to the Langley Hospital. So, and when we heard the explosion, I rushed there to see what has actually happened. So, like about 5 minutes later, another explosion also came. It exploded again, and everyone around the area was fleeing. So I went there to ask what has happened, and one of the eyewitness I spoke with told me that there is a picnic shop around the area. We have sprayers there. We have engine mechanics, electricians are there. The straters are also there. Electrical welders are also there. So the strater was using the machine that uses gas to work on the car. And as and when he was working on the car, one of their cables tripped and it caught fire. So that place is a tipping shop. So actually there were so many cars parked there ready to be worked on. So as and when the cable tripped and the fire, so they tried to quench that fire because at that moment it was so minimal, but they couldn't. And unfortunately, one of the guys was using the gas to work on another car. So the fire got in contact with the gas and exploded. So that person that was working on that car at that moment died instantly. He died instantly, and the police came to take him away to the hospital for autopsy. But 5-10 minutes later, another gas also exploded, and another one also exploded. So I spoke with the guy and asked him what was actually happening. He told me the shop owner sells that gas to other mechanics, so they come there to buy their gas. So there are like 10 cylinders there filled with so much gas waiting for a buyer. So that was the one that was exploding. 8 people got seriously injured. Regardless of those that was minor. 8 people got seriously injured. Some got their hands cut off. The shop owner got his left foot cut off. And if care is not taken, he will be amputated forever. One died instantly, and 2 others have died at the hospital, which have gone there to confirm also. The pathetic thing is, I called the fire service as and when the thing was happening. I called the fire commander, GHOne Richard Goli, myself, and she told me the fire tender here in Obuasi, which serves 5 districts, Obuasi East, Obuasi West, Adansia Kusum, Adansia Sopa, and Obitobi, is 40 for like 4 weeks. And she's reported it to the authorities to come and fix that fire tender. And nothing has been done. So she rather called the Formana, the nearby district Formana, for them to come to our rescue. And she has already called the Anglo Ashanti of Water Mine to also bring their fire tender. So Anglo Ashanti Mine of Water Fire Tender came in first, trying to control the fire. But fortunately, the water in that fire tender got finished. So they went back to go and rescue, and then came in the permanent fire tender. So they came to also manage it around. The Anglo Ashanti people also came. The 2 fire tenders went and came back like 4 times before the fire could be quenched. The fire started around 10:30 there about, but after 3:30, getting to 4 o'clock p.m., they were still on the fire, getting to be quenched because there were so many cars, like 13 of them. I could count 13 of the cars at that fitting shop being burned into ashes, being burned without repairs. You can't do anything about that car that were at the shop. So that's the situation here in Obuasi earlier today.
Very, very unfortunate development there, Kwame. Thank you for the updates. We'll re-engage subsequently for more on that, and we understand that 3 persons are now confirmed dead following that incident. That was Kwame Marfo joining us from Obuasi. In other news this evening, a 1.5-year-old child has been allegedly found abandoned near the Pra River in the Asin North District of the Central Region. The child, suspected to be with special needs, was discovered in a thick bush near the riverbank by Edward Ahoso, a fisherman. According to him, he was on a fishing expedition when he stumbled on the child at about 4 a.m. on Thursday, December 13, 2024. He then informed the police at Asin Praso, who went with him to the Praso safe site to pick up the child. Upon inspecting the scene, the police found the child dressed in multicolored trousers and a white t-shirt. The child was then rushed to the Asin Praso Presbyterian Hospital for treatment and was admitted to the intensive care unit. The Asin Praso police has begun a manhunt for the suspects. You're watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV, and we continue to remain your election hub. Some election-related news is next. On Election Hub tonight, the New Patriotic Party, NPP, has rejected assertions by the NDC that it is engaging in an illegality by recollating parliamentary results at the police training school here in Accra, despite declaring parliamentary results for over 260 of the 276 constituencies. A number of constituencies have been with collation challenges as both parties have claimed victory, forcing a new collation of these results. The activity, which has been ongoing at the police training depot in Tesano since Wednesday, has seen the declaration of the Suhum, Akwetia and Fantiakwa North seats to the MPP, with that of Nsawam Aduedri currently under injunction. But addressing the media earlier today, Chairman of the National Democratic Congress NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, who says the activity is illegal, is also warning of possible consequences for electoral and police officers abetting the said illegality.
We in the NDC believe that what is happening at the police training school amounts to illegality. It is not founded on any laws of our elections. Neither is it based on any consensus that has been reached between the parties and the Electoral Commission. And so we want to inform the nation and to give notice to any officials of the Commission and the police who are involved in the perpetration of that illegality, to know that there could be consequences of their actions in future. We know the process of our elections is quite clear. After voting, votes are counted and the results entered on what we call the results declaration forms, or the pink sheet, and the presiding officer at the polling station proceeds to announce the outcomes at the polling stations, after which all party agents sign and then are given copies of the results. The reason is that everybody will be having the same figures simultaneously. That is one of the most important checks in our elections. And that is why we always say that elections are won or lost at polling stations.
Now, Johnson Asiedu Nketia has also rubbished assertions that the NDC is desperate for a two-third majority in Parliament, as he says the party already crossed that mark even without the seats in contention. According to him, he's only fighting for the right thing to be done.
So it's not about anybody winning or losing. In fact, all the constituencies they are dealing with there, I don't think any of them is in our tally as at now, but we still have won over 180 something seats. So we are just looking for the right things to be done according to law. It's not about winning the election. They themselves, even before the declaration of the results, they themselves have come to tell us that they have lost. But it is not about winning or losing. It's about making sure that the democratic process is followed. And that is why we are doing what we are doing. So thank you very much. We have already crossed two-thirds majority. And nothing can change that one. But we still want to insist that the right thing is done, because the mandate of the people in those various constituencies also matter.
However, the MPP has rubbished the claims of the NDC on their act being illegal. The MPP says the ongoing process is meant at only bringing finality to results of constituencies that were never collated in the first place. Deputy General Secretary of the party, Haruna Mohammed, spoke to GHOne News.
I think he has not been briefed very well. If he was briefed very well, he will stop using the word recollation. In our laws, in this CI, there's nothing called recollation. What is in the law is recount. What is happening here is a continuation of collation, where coalitions were disrupted, electoral materials being destroyed, pink sheets being destroyed, and then they scatter everything at coalition centers. And where coalition were fraud, and then people were forced to declare under duress, some at gunpoint. These are the coalitions that has been continued, and some of them are rectified, and the right thing is done based on the laws of elections. Right. So there is no recollation anywhere. I think he has been briefed wrongly. We need to respect the laws of our land. We have all signed on to ensure that there is peace after these elections. We've all been averred our minds to the fact that there are laws, as in CI 127, that is used for the conduct of elections in Ghana. And we all know that the NDC hoodlums and people who has not been very disciplined enough have taken the law into their hands. That is causing us to have a coalition that is purposely for safety of the individuals that are in front of this particular coalition. Else what we will be doing here is because the NDC have not trained their people well, is because their hoodlums are out there to disrupt every process, is because they cannot order or they cannot keep an order or even guide their people in terms of what should be done within such a process. For us, we stand for fairness, we stand for openness, transparency, and that is why we are following up to ensure that some of these things is done right. And if you check the CI and you go and check
Well, meanwhile, the National Peace Council is calling on the Electoral Commission to convene an emergency IPAC meeting regarding the Akwetia in Sawam Aduedri and Fantiakwa results collation at Tesano Police Training School. Now, the statement, as you see on your screen, reads that the NPC is aware of a delayed collation exercise for 3 Eastern Region constituencies. Our understanding is that the EC moved the collation of results from Akwetia and Sawam Aduedri and Fantiakwa constituencies to the regional level and now to the national level due to the widely reported incidents of destruction and arson at other collation centers across the country. It further highlights that the checks with partners confirmed that the collation exercise at Tesano Police Training School was at the instance of the EC and not any political party or the Ghana Police Service. It calls on political party representatives to avail themselves of every legal avenue available to redress their concerns to ensure the safety of all participants. It further reads, calling on the EC to convene an emergency inter-party advisory committee, that's IPAC, meeting with all political party representatives and other stakeholders to discuss and agree an amicable resolution. It rounds up by stating that the MPC encourages the media to continue the diligent efforts, and the council continues to speak with all relevant stakeholders to resolve this matter and ensure a peaceful resolution. Well, let's stay a while longer on this subject and speak with the national coordinator of CODEO, that's Albert Ahin. Good evening to you. Thank you for joining us here on News Tonight. Now, first of all, kindly expatiate on what exactly the law says with regards to recollation and what should be done as it stands.
Hello.
Yes, good evening to you. I hope you're hearing me.
Yeah, I didn't hear a thing. All that was being said was just some noise in my ear.
I'm asking you to expand
so I don't even
on
know
what
the trend of the argument.
On what the law says with regards to recollation.
Come again?
I'm asking that you expand on what the law says with regards to recollation.
Recollation?
Yes.
Well, what if I'm getting you right? You're asking about there's a law on recollation. Is that it?
Absolutely.
I don't think there's any law on recollation. There's only a law on recount. And that is maybe done at the polling station, where sometimes you can count twice, and then later on, when it is at the collation center, it could be asked again, but it will be at the discretion of the presiding officer or the returning officer.
Now, as you
when
might,
it is counted at the various polling stations and is sent to the collation center, the returning officer or maybe whoever is the presiding officer can refuse a recount. There's nothing like a recollation, but what I know is that if, for example, the results that are being collated have not been done satisfactorily, if there are discrepancies, for example, in some of the pink sheet, if they are not correct, if there are some mistakes in them, then there has to be a reason or maybe a method of correcting them. You see, and if you had been listening to the EC chaps, I'm sure they would have been telling you that if there was a mistake, the original one may be in blue ink or something, then they will correct that in red ink. And then if they do the correction, they will have to look out, for example, if they've done the correction and everybody is gone. Let's take it that there was a mistake in the results that have been put together. And then later on it is detected. It was announced and then it was detected there was a mistake. They can do the correction, but the proviso here is that they must make sure every party agent that was around is given a copy of the new correction that was made. If there's any correction that is to be made at all, you make a correction and you definitely have to give everybody. If on the other hand there was a mistake in any of the result sheet, and then there has to be a consensus so that people will be happy. If someone coming from any of the parties says that he doesn't agree, there's also a way of he or she putting down on paper, or a pen on paper, to tell or give the reason why he doesn't agree the result of an election at a particular police station.
So briefly, with that being said, will you describe this current process of recounting as illegal? Is it within the remits of the law?
It's really difficult hearing you, my dear. So I cannot contribute meaningfully to this conversation because I barely hear you. I can barely hear you.
Right. I'm going to try for the last time, although you have already made some salient points. But I'm asking if the recounting process that we are currently seeing is within the remits of the law from where you sit.
Which law are you talking about?
Legally, this process of recounting, as we know, as a result of the disruption that was witnessed, is it legal? Is it a legal process?
I'm not anything that this lady.
We're going to have to round it up here, but thank you so much for your time this evening. Joining us from CODEO, that's Albert Ahin, National Coordinator of CODEO on that issue. Certainly, we'll bring you up to speed with that subsequently. You're watching News Tonight. That does it for Election Hub. Stay with us. You're welcome back to News Tonight here on GHOne TV. Now let's continue to bring you some more election-related news. He is a medical practitioner who rose through the ranks to become the medical director of the Greater Accra Regional Hospital. He left the facility through controversial means to start an organization solely dedicated at promoting medical and health advocacy. However, he seems to have ditched that for politics, as he's now the Member of Parliament-elect for the Garu constituency of the Upper East region. He is Dr. Thomas Anaba, and he joins us now in studio for a conversation. Good evening to you, Doc. Welcome to News Tonight.
Good evening to you and good evening to your viewers.
So tell me, how are you processing this mandate that has been given to you by the people of Garu to represent them as MP?
I think it's a joy and it's a big tax given to me at the same time. A joy because to be selected or elected as a member of parliament to represent the constituency means that the people have trust in you, they have faith in you, and they believe you'll be able to defend them and stand for them when the needs be. And I think it's also a joy because it's a privilege to get to that position, to represent a constituency like Garu in Parliament, to be the voice for the people of Garu in Ghana, and also to contribute in decision-making of the country so that to bring more about development, especially in the health sector, as I am into that field.
You are.
So to me, it's both a joy and also a big tax.
How tough was the election? How would you assess your campaign and the election for you and the election in general?
For me in Garu, it was very tough. Very tough because I have a very serious contender. A contender who was very resourceful, and the family has a serious background in politics and management and in the rest. My contender's husband has been an ECOWAS administrator for 21 good years, to an extent that he got to become the Secretary General of ECOWAS. He just retired a year ago from ECOWAS and came home with the wife, and as a result of their relationship with President Akufo-Addo and Afeyo Markins, she contested to become the parliamentary candidate for the NPP. So she had the support, full support from the family and from the president and from NPP to make sure she executes the project to whisk the seat from NDC to NPP. But we didn't allow ourselves to be belittled. We put in the needed effort. She was given all the resources we think one could imagine, all contracts from the assembly, from the
Do you say this on authority?
Yeah, on authority. All contracts, road contracts, electricity contracts, NGOs like Soko projects, everything was given to her.
To her?
To her. And the children to manage to run for her.
To her and her family,
yes.
Is what
Even
you're saying.
the tarring of the Garu roads were given to her. She removed all the tar in roads in Garu to redo them, but couldn't do them. And the whole Garu is now engulfed in dust and in the rest. She got contracts to dig boreholes.
So you're saying on authority that these contracts were given to her and she did not fulfill them within
I am saying on authority. They gave her all the contracts in Garu to an extent that the DCE who was there, she managed to get the DCE out of post and put her own DCE there to work for her. And that brought about problems between herself and the party members in Garu. So she wielded a lot of power because she was taking command from the presidency and she was getting support from the presidency. So we really met a very tough contender. The husband used her position at ECOWAS past General Secretary to come in to negotiate with opinion leaders in the constituency. But we were able to give them a better information and a much appreciated...
What made it different for you? What made you...
What we did was to leverage on the division in their party. But we rather tried...
You leveraged on the division within the NPP?
Within the NPP, in Garu.
In Garu?
Yes, we leveraged on it, even though the seat is for NDC. But because of the role the husband played, the position he has, the wealth they had, we thought they could do something. But when we saw that there were cracks in the party, we decided to leverage on that. But I got all my party members united, both the past MP, the current MP, those who contested with me. We formed a very good team. We're working together and we're campaigning vigorously, despite the fact we didn't have resources like her. Her target of resources was just like vote buying, but I targeted in solving social problems.
Which she was of getting Votes? What's vote buying?
Yes, it was virtually like vote buying cloths and sharing to virtually all women in the constituency was one of the things she does.
You didn't engage in vote buying at all?
I didn't engage in vote buying. No. I rather use my money to provide social services, like giving them a free ambulance. I did it for them. I gave them a pickup before I contested for the election. And when I saw that the pickup was not very useful for an ambulance, I bought an ambulance for the constituency. I took to it that I made sure there was no village whose boreholes was broken down. For the past 3 years, I've been repairing boreholes so that no house goes without water. And that has been some of the social interventions I've done. I've bought furniture for schools. I've floored schools. I've bought math sets for all students going to school, even without being an MP, mathematical sets. So I've been doing this for a very long time. She, with all her position, the husband's position, they have not been able to even provide a single textbook to a student in Garu. So when they then came, just a year ago, started doing these things because she was contesting to be the MP for Garu. We leveraged on the information that we had against them, and actually we succeeded. So she was beaten mercilessly. She only won three polling stations with different stands in the 3 polling stations. She lost all the 73 polling stations and won only 3. So that showed that my information and my position in helping the society in Garu, the people of Garu, paid.
So now that you're MP-elect, what should the people expect from you? You've done boreholes even prior to having this position, bought maths sets. Yes. You're MP now. What should they expect?
They should expect more.
MP-elect, I should
because
say.
I will try to lobby for more things, and I'll also look within myself what I have to continue giving back to the society. We're going to see to it that schools in Garu are well furnished, which is something, a project that we have to do. We want to make sure that no child is refused, denied going to school. We want to make sure that we dig more boreholes to improve on the water system in Garu and renovate the water, the water system, the town water system, which has been broken down for 1 year now, and the government has not worked on it. So the people within the Garu township are suffering because they don't have water, and their boreholes were broken because they were relying on the system, the water system. So we want to make sure we revamp it to make sure we have pipe-borne water in Garu Township. We want to make sure we retar the roads. Thankfully, the president-elect was in Garu and saw how the roads were, and he promised to make sure we redevelop the Garu Township roads, which was destroyed by the NPP government through their parliamentary candidate because they gave her a contract to retar the roads in Garu. She took it and she never did it. So all this is some of the immediate works that we want to do. Right.
Very well. Now, let's just briefly talk on a health, because of course you've got a health background, right? Yeah. How would you assess the current administration's initiatives with health, particularly Agenda 111, and what are you looking forward to seeing in the Mohammed-led administration and contributing as it pertains to health?
Talking about Agenda 111, from the very beginning when they announced it, I want to be honest, I criticized the implementation. Why? Not because I don't want hospitals.
Too ambitious?
It was too ambitious, and we are not going to get the needed human resource to man them. It's just like having 3,000 television stations in Ghana. What are you going to do with it?
Okay, so your
you don't have the needed personnel.
The human resource.
Yes, the human resource. We don't even have enough doctors for those who are currently, for the current existing hospitals. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't build. So we have to improve on the training of more staff. To take care of those places, and also ensure that when we train them and they come out, we don't let them sit at home like they are currently sitting at home. How many doctors have left Ghana because of poor conditions of service? We've not put all those things in place, and we're building 111 health facilities, 88 district hospitals.
Jobs somewhat when there's a facility
it will create jobs, but you are not training the people for the jobs. How many medical schools do we have? How many students are we training to come out to take care of those hospitals? It's just like building a white elephant standing without medical doctors and nurses, laboratory technicians, radiologists taking care of them.
President-elect Mahama has also spoken about investing in healthcare infrastructure. So,
yes, we are thinking that with what they've started, we make sure we complete them. We shouldn't allow them to decay like they've done before. We make sure we complete them. We make sure we give incentives to doctors to stay in Ghana because there's a whole lot of health staff leaving the country. You remember just this year, in 1 month, we have 4,000 nurses leaving Ghana. If they continue leaving Ghana at this rate, where are we going to get the personnel to man the hospitals? So the onus lies on all of us. We need to have a serious stakeholder meeting to engage and see how we can train enough medical professionals, or even have a legislature or something that will allow doctors who are outside this country and want to come into Ghana without much resistance, without too much of bureaucracy, so that they can come and occupy the space that we are creating. Because if we finish the 88 hospitals they are talking about, it's going to be a challenge for us to run.
Let's wrap it up here. But thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having
us
me
this evening. Dr. Thomas Anaba, MP-elect for Garu constituency in the Upper East region. Now, before we wrap up with Election Hub tonight, let's show you something nice. In the midst of all the chaos post the December 7 elections, our political leaders may just be audio rivals and not real enemies, as there is usually excitement when they meet. Here is what transpired when NDC Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram Samuel Nate George met spokesperson of the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaign team, Dennis Miracles, here at the premises of GHOne TV.
Opposition when them 16 years but me only am sure yes will be one no can to mama send you me accept me party they switch it to you I will wear your clothes.
Well, that's certainly good to see. You're watching News Tonight. That's how we wrap up Election Hub. Business News is next. A leading retail chain has inaugurated its newest branch at the Accra Mall. The 15 square meter space showcases an array of local and foreign brands of high quality, offering an exceptional and exciting shopping experience for its numerous customers with value for money. Calvin Powell reports.
The economic downturn precipitated by the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia geopolitical aggression against Ukraine has led several brands to exit Ghana, citing declining profits. Conversely, Malcolm, a local brand, remains committed to the Ghanaian market and is expanding its presence to fill the void left by a foreign brand that vacated the premises almost a year ago. At the opening ceremony, the group managing director, Dr. Ramesh Sadwani, indicated that Melcom is dedicated to providing an unforgettable shopping experience for customers while also giving back to society through various social causes.
At Melcom, we believe in offering more than just products. We strive to provide our customers with the best experience. To achieve this, we aim to always have the largest and best variety, the best value products with the lowest prices, convenience, and the best customer service under one roof. From fresh produce to household essentials, from trendy fashion to electronics and appliances.
The group general manager, Francis Sam, emphasized that a 4-day 20% discount promotion running from Thursday, December 12th to Sunday, December 15, 2024 is a gesture of gratitude to customers and a cashback incentive to celebrate the Yuletide season.
20% is to introduce the shop to all people that are shopping this weekend, and so that they have something to experience and more money in their pockets when they are shopping. We are giving you more reasons why you should come and shop at Malcolm and enjoy the shopping experience, enjoy the ambience, enjoy our new branding, and enjoy all the products that we are bringing to.
You're watching News Tonight. Next, we bring you sports news. In sports tonight, former Asante Kotoko captain Eric Donko believes Kotoko is poised for victory against Hearts of Oak in the Super Clash on Sunday. The two most glamorous clubs in Ghana will lock horns at the Baba Yara Stadium in match day 13 of the Ghana Premier League. Speaking on the game, the former player expressed his former club is poised to battle it out with Hearts of Oak this weekend.
I think Kumasi Asante Kotoko would have folk on Sunday because one, their win against the Aduana Stars would hinder that or will trigger that momentum into this game, and you know the players they know or they feel the heat because as an ex-player or as an ex-captain of the club in which I'm doing my stuff, at times I also get the hit. You know, I have friends who are supporters who called and ask what's happening with your club. You know, so I know the players know the hit they've gone through in their last 5 games or throughout.